Albion Online is a free-to-play cross-platform MMORPG that I've covered positively on this channel multiple times in the past, and is one of the very few crowdfunded MMOs to actually become successful and gain a growing player base post-launch, going from strength to strength with regular substantial content updates. The last time I covered Albion was April 2020 during its Queen update. Since then the game's had a bunch of massive updates that have almost changed the entire game. August 2020 introduced the Rise of Avalon update, March 2021 the Call to Arms update, Albion Online fully released cross-platform on mobile devices in June 2021, bringing with it explosive population growth, and just recently, as of November 24th, Albion's just had its biggest expansion to date with its Lands Awakened update, which we'll be talking about today so you can decide if you want to jump back into Albion or give it a try for the first time. Before we go any further, this video is sponsored by Albion Online. However, I've made multiple positive non-sponsored videos on this game in the past. I've played the game on and off in my spare time since launch, and I've been waiting for this next big update for a while to jump in and make some more up-to-date coverage of the game. If you like what you see in this video, then click the link in the description below to play Albion Online for free on your platform of choice. Before we get into all the new content added with the recent update, let's start with a quick overview for what Albion Online is for the people who have never played it before. Albion Online is an isometric sandbox MMORPG that features a classless combat system, meaning you can use different weapons and experience multiple different playstyles on the same character. This game doesn't have a linear narrative-driven main quest line that you need to follow to level up, as is typical of theme park MMOs. Instead, the game has a few quests that act as tutorials, and you as the player will need to set your own goals and figure out how to work towards them from within the game's player-driven world. In the past, Albion Online has primarily been known as a full loot sandbox PvP game. However, recent updates have added a lot more options for solo players, PvE players, and people who don't want to engage in the full loot aspect of the game. When it comes to combat and features, Albion Online now has a good mix of PvP, PvE, and casual content. On the PvP side of things, you've got 5v5 instanced arena PvP matchmaking, 1v1 duels, castle sieges, castle outposts, guild vs guild crystal battles, open world ganking, caravan transport PvP missions, guild hideouts, seasonal guild rankings, open world randomly spawning treasure sites, faction vs faction, which is large scale objective based open world PvP available to anyone, and hellgates, which are PvP portals in the world where you compete against other teams to claim loot from defeating monsters. Hellgates have 2v2, 5v5 and 10v10 modes, with an option of full loot PvP in red/black zones or non-full loot in yellow and blue zones. PvE content in Albion consists of solo dungeons, 3 to 5 player dungeons, world bosses which are designed for 10 players and spawn every hour in the world, randomized 5 player dungeons, instanced solo expeditions, instanced hardcore group expeditions, open world mobs that become more powerful the longer they remain alive, granting extra rewards as they become stronger, and corrupted dungeons, which are single player dungeons in the world where you choose your difficulty level, kill monsters to summon a boss, then open a treasure chest to get loot. Similar to Dark Souls, you can get invaded and partake in full loot or non-full loot PvP for extra rewards, or you can destroy crystals to avoid PvP entirely and banish your enemy. Casual content in Albion Online consists of player islands, city plots where you can own a building in a city receiving a tax kickback from other players, an in-depth crafting and gathering system in the game's player-driven localized economy, guild islands, fashion flexing, and farming. The final fundamental thing you should know about Albion Online is the structure of the world being made up of blue, yellow, red, and black zones. I've overlaid a chart that helps explain the differences between them. TLDR, blue and yellow zones are non-full loot PvP with lower tier resources and loot rewards. Red and black zones are full loot PvP with the best rewards. Next, let's discuss everything that's new with Albion's latest update, Lands Awakened. When it comes to open world PvE content, Lands Awakened brings an innovative new system where mobs in the world become increasingly powerful the longer they remain alive, offering potentially massive fame and loot rewards. This is something I haven't seen done in a sandbox MMO before, and I love this idea as it allows the monsters in the world to feel more dynamic, and also promotes exploration for lesser explored areas of the map. For PvE group content, the static open world dungeons have been reworked to include entrances in multiple zones, and new timed dungeon events have been added with huge rewards for players who are able to beat the timer. World map overlays also now offer additional details about resources and mobs, so players can gauge the overall value of a zone much quicker. The Lands Awakened update brings numerous new open world PvP objectives to the game, most notably a rework to treasure sites. Previously, these sites would spawn on the hour, resulting in them being camped by large groups. However, now they spawn at unpredictable times with randomized rewards, giving smaller groups or even solo players a fairer shot at loot. Treasure sites are only shown on the map to players in close proximity, which makes this content much more solo friendly. For guilds, a new system has been added to make life more interesting for players that enjoy making a home in the Outlands via guild hideouts. Power cores and energy crystals are resources that spawn in the world and must be captured and escorted on foot back to a guild hideout. Successfully returning a power core will increase your hideout's power level, resulting in better rewards from crafting and a fame bonus in the hideout region. These power cores and energy crystals have different power values associated with them. Large power cores are designed for large groups to fight over and appear on the world map, whilst small power cores only appear to players within proximity. TLDR, more objectives for guilds to fight each other over, and more varied objectives for groups both large and small. When it comes to visuals, Lands Awakened has upgraded the look and feel of Albion's game world. Each biome and sub-biome has been reworked to create a more diverse and visually enticing environment to make exploration more enjoyable. The zone layouts have also been improved to make the zones feel more interesting and unique. Expect different terrain elevation, natural choke points in the world, and each biome's terrain features are reflected on the map. Lands Awakened brings a new weapon type to the game known as the War Gloves, basically a big damage melee weapon that allows you to punch people across the map. Heavy CC, high mobility chonky fist weapons that have a total of 15 new abilities to help shake up the combat meta. Guild seasons have been reworked with a new Conquerors challenge, allowing every guild member to contribute to their guild's success by earning might and favour through a variety of activities, which in turn bring about their own rewards, contributing to the guild's overall might level. Each might level a guild achieves grants better rewards, allowing guilds of different sizes to grow in strength in a variety of ways. Additionally, a territory's energy level is now based on energy from both the Crystal League and new open world energy crystals, rewarding guilds willing to engage in high-risk, high-reward activities. The Lands Awakened update has brought some serious love to the guild hideout system, not only with the new power core system, but by also allowing guilds to easily live in the Outlands more freely by designating one of their hideouts as a headquarters hideout. Headquarters are invulnerable to attacks so long as it maintains a certain power level earned by capturing and delivering power cores. This new guild headquarters and power core system gives guild members objectives to fight over at all times of the day in groups large and small, with capture the flag style gameplay, a very positive addition to the game for fans of PvP. Elite levels offer a new sense of progression to the game for high-level players who have previously capped their weapon mastery to the cap of 100. With enough dedication, you can now push even further beyond to obtain previously unreachable stat levels, adding a sense of specialization to your favorite weapons and armor. Additionally, the overall fame progression of the game has been boosted by about 20%. This basically means it takes less time for new players to grind out the fame required to get to a decent competitive level. Lands Awakened also brings with it a bunch of quality of life improvements, most notably player-created loadouts being purchased directly from the marketplace, massively speeding up the process of re-gearing for those partaking in full loot PvP. The last time I played Albion, the game didn't even have loadouts. This was one of the most off-putting parts of the full loot PvP system for me. I was never annoyed about losing gear, I was annoyed about having to buy, re-equip, and set up my abilities again. The recent updates to loadout have completely solved this issue to make those full loot PvP deaths as painless as possible. Farming usability has been streamlined to require fewer clicks when interacting with crops and animals, re-rolling items has a cleaner and better designed user interface, owner fees associated with player buildings are displayed more clearly, and new party commands have been added to the chat functions to improve communication during group play. As well as expanded content, Lands Awakened also expands upon Albion Online's soundtrack and combat music, with brand new city themes that reflect the characteristics of each faction, hideout themes which progress as your hideout develops, and brand new music for the tutorial and Destiny board. Other additional improvements this update brings include the rebalancing of crafting costs for consumables and mounts, new achievements, updated ability icons, combat balance changes, and new map overlays that show the silver and resource values of zones. Albion Online has gone through so many changes since the last time I covered the game in April 2020, so much so that I think my pros and cons list would likely be different and needs to be updated. The two big issues I had with Albion in the past was that it didn't seem very solo player friendly, and despite being a PvP player, I hated the tedium of re-gearing every time I had a full loot death. With recent updates adding corrupted dungeons to the game, rebalancing open world objectives to give small groups a chance, and the new loadout system, these two big issues seem to be solved. In the next few weeks I'll be revisiting Albion Online, creating a new character, and checking out the new player experience to see how long it takes to get to the fun content now compared to previously. And I'll also be jumping on my main character to check out all the new endgame content that's been added, hopefully joining a guild and doing some Zerg vs Zerg, before wrapping things up with an updated pros and cons list. If you like what you saw in this video, then click the link in the description below to check out Albion Online's newest update, Lands Awakened, for free. This game has no region lock and is one big mega server compatible with multiple devices, so the barrier to entry is super low. Let me know your thoughts on this update in the comments below, social media on screen. Thanks for watching, I hope you all had a successful day, and I'll see you again in the next one.